The moment I opened my phone and saw those photos, everything I believed about my life, my marriage, my wife, my future, shattered like glass. They weren't just pictures, it was a confession. This is a story of how sometimes the people you trust the most are the ones who hold the knife. Stay tuned and don't forget to like and subscribe as I take you through the details of how my wife destroyed not just my marriage but my faith in love itself. I still remember the day I met her like it was yesterday. It was during the final year of university, and everything about life felt uncertain back then. Deadlines, exams, and the looming question of what's next after graduation. And then she walked into my life, Alice. She was like a breath of fresh air in a room that felt too small. Confident, funny, and smart in ways that made me feel both intimidated and inspired. I was drawn to her instantly. We met at a study group, one of those late-night sessions where half the group is actually studying and the other half is just there for the snacks. I was trying to stay focused, buried in my notes, when she slid her chair over and asked me for a pen. Just a pen, but for some reason, it felt like the start of something bigger. From that moment, we started talking more. It was subtle at first, exchanging tips on assignments, grabbing coffee after lectures. But the more time we spent together, the more I realized how much I wanted her to be a part of my life. By the end of the year, we weren't just classmates or friends, we were inseparable. She became the person I could laugh with, vent to, and dream about the future with. Loving her felt easy, like it was the most natural thing in the world. And the best part, she loved me back with the same energy. When graduation came around, while everyone else was stressing about what's next, finding jobs, moving cities, starting over, we had already made our decision. We didn't want to waste any time, we got married right after leaving school. I didn't have a high-paying job yet, and our apartment was small. But those first months of marriage were the happiest days of my life. We didn't need anything fancy, we had each other, and for me, that was enough. We did everything together, grocery runs turned into little adventures. Watching movies at home felt like the best date nights. Even something as simple as cooking dinner felt special because it was us. Our dreams weren't just about individual success anymore, they were shared. We talked about building a life, maybe starting a family someday, and supporting each other no matter what. Back then, I honestly thought nothing could ever come between us. We were a team, and it felt like the kind of love you read about in books or see in movies. The kind you think will last forever. After a few months of working in the luxury brand industry, Alice came to me with this idea. She was always ambitious, always looking for ways to improve herself and climb higher. And that's one of the things I admired most about her. That evening, she sat me down, and I could tell from her expression that whatever she was about to say was important. "There's this program in Paris," she started, her voice full of excitement. "It's a short-term course, just 3 to 6 months, but it's one of the best for luxury brand management. Having that certification would open so many doors for me." She paused, her eyes searching mine for a reaction. "It's Paris," she added, almost like a whisper, as if that single word carried the weight of 1,000 possibilities. I won't lie, my stomach sank a little. Paris, it wasn't just another city, it was far, far away. The thought of her being gone for months felt heavy, like a knot forming in my chest. But I also knew how much this meant to her. Alice wasn't just chasing some pipe dream, this was real. It would give her a huge boost in her career, and she genuinely believed in it. "What do you think?" she asked, her voice softer now, almost cautious. What could I say? This was Alice, the woman I loved with all my heart. How could I ever stand in the way of something that made her happy? "If this is what you want, I'm with you," I said, and I meant it. Even though the thought of being apart made my heart ache. I wasn't going to let my feelings hold her back. Love isn't about keeping someone close, It's about helping them grow, even when it's hard. We spent the next few weeks preparing for her trip. She was excited, talking about all the things she'd learn and the opportunities it would bring. I listened, trying to match her energy, but inside, I was already missing her. The day she left was harder than I thought it would be. We stood at the airport, and for a moment, I didn't want to let her go. I hugged her tightly, breathing in her familiar scent, and whispered, "I'm going to miss you so much." "I'll miss you too," she said, her voice a little shaky, "but it's just a few months, we'll make it work. I'll call every day, text all the time, it'll feel like I'm not even gone." I nodded, even though I knew it wouldn't be the same. As she walked toward the gate, she turned back and gave me one last smile. I held on to that moment, trying to ignore the sinking feeling in my chest. When she disappeared into the airport terminal, I stood there for a while, staring away. It hit me then, for the first time since we met, I wouldn't have her by my side. But I reminded myself why I said yes, because I loved her, and I wanted her to chase her dreams, no matter how far away they took her. When my wife first got to Paris, we made it a point to stay connected. Every day felt like a ritual. Morning texts, a quick video call during her lunch break, and long chats at night before bed. I clung to those moments because even though I couldn't be there with her, it felt like I still had a piece of her day. Our conversations were warm, easy, and familiar. She'd tell me about the classes she was taking, the people she'd met, and how amazing the city looked at night. I'd joke about how boring life back home was without her or how much I missed her cooking. She'd laugh, roll her eyes, and promise to make up for it when she got back. For a while, that was enough to keep me going. By the middle of the second month, things started to feel different. At first, I tried not to read too much into it. Life happens, right? But I couldn't ignore it when the goodnight texts started disappearing. We had this thing, every night before bed, she'd text, "Good night, I love you," and I'd do the same. It was small, but it mattered. It was like our way of saying, "I'm still here, no matter the distance." But now, some nights would just pass without a word. I'd stay up waiting, thinking maybe she fell asleep, maybe she was just tired. I mean, she was in a new place, studying hard, it made sense, at least that's what I told myself. Then there were the long gaps during the day. I'd send a message, something simple like, "How's your day going?" Or, "Did you eat yet?" And like half of the day would pass without a reply. When she did respond, it felt off. Her answers were short, vague, "Sorry, busy, class ran late, talk later." That was it, no details, no effort to keep the conversation going. At first, I brushed it off. She was in Paris, after all, doing something that could really boost her career. Maybe she was overwhelmed with coursework, maybe she was just adjusting to a new schedule. I didn't want to be that guy, the one who couldn't handle a little distance or got insecure because his wife was busy chasing her dreams. What if it's not just the program? What if there's something she's not telling me? But I pushed those thoughts down because, honestly, the alternative was too painful to even consider. I loved her, and I wanted to believe in her. So I clung to the idea that we'd reconnect, that this was just a rough patch. And that love like ours didn't just fade. Looking back now, though, I wish I'd trusted my gut. Those little signs, they weren't nothing, they were the start of something I never saw coming. I remember the day like it just happened. It was the start of the 4th month since my wife had gone to Paris for her program. I was sitting on the couch, scrolling through my phone, when her message popped up. She had sent me a batch of photos. At first, I thought they'd be of her usual updates. Maybe some snapshots of her classes, the streets of Paris, or some new cafe she'd discovered. But no, these photos weren't what I expected. They were of her with another man. In the first one, they were laughing together at what looked like a fancy restaurant. In another, They were holding hands in front of some Parisian landmark. And the last one, that was the one that hit the hardest, they were kissing. She didn't try to explain or soften the blow. In the message that followed, she said it all: "I've fallen in love with someone else. I think it's better to be honest with you. I want a divorce." I sat there, frozen, my eyes glued to the screen, rereading her words over and over, hoping I'd misunderstood. But I hadn't. It was all there, spelled out clearly. Her betrayal, her decision, and the cold reality that she had moved on without me. My chest felt like it was caving in. I didn't know what to do, what to think, or even how to breathe properly. How could this be happening? Just a few months ago, I'd supported her decision to go to Paris because I loved her and wanted the best for her. I thought we were a team, and now she was telling me she had fallen in love with someone else. How long had this been going on? Was this why she'd been distant? Why the late-night texts had stopped? Why the calls felt shorter and colder? That night, I didn't sleep. I couldn't. It felt like someone had reached into my chest and ripped out everything I held dear. I spent the next few days in a haze, trying to make sense of it all. The questions wouldn't stop swirling in my head. Who was this guy? How did she meet him, and why now? I needed answers. It didn't take long to figure it out. With a little digging, I learned that the man in the photos wasn't just some random guy she'd met in Paris. He was her first boyfriend. They dated before we even knew each other, back when she was in high school. They'd broken up when she came to university here. I assumed he was a thing of the past. But clearly, I was wrong. I went through her social media, looking for clues, and it all started to make sense. He had been there all along, liking her posts, commenting here and there, little things I hadn't noticed before. Or maybe I had and just brushed off because I trusted her. That trust feels so stupid now. It seems they'd been in touch even before we got married. Was this whole Paris thing just an excuse to reconnect with him? Had she ever really cared about the program, or was this just her way of getting back to him? The worst part wasn't just that she betrayed me, it was the thought that this might have been planned all along. Maybe she'd been waiting for the right opportunity to rekindle whatever they had. And me, I was just the guy who kept her warm until she could get back to him. I didn't know what to do. People always say you should fight for what you love. But how do you fight for someone who's already decided to leave? She'd made her choice, and it wasn't me. That realization was like a second knife to the heart. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the ring on my finger, twisting it round and round. Like I was trying to figure out what it all meant. Was any of it real? The late night talks about forever, the promises we made on our wedding day? The way she used to smile at me like I was her whole world, did she mean any of it? Or was I just convenient? I kept replaying everything in my head, like a broken record that wouldn't stop. Did I miss something? Was there a sign, some hint that she wasn't as invested in us as I was? I thought I did everything right. I supported her dreams. I encouraged her to go to Paris. Because I believed in her, in us. And yet, here I am, wondering if I was just the safe choice until something, or someone, better came along. The thing is, I gave her everything. My time, my trust, my heart. I never doubted her, not for a second, even when she started pulling away. I made excuses for her. She's busy, I told myself. The program must be intense. But deep down, I knew something was off. I just didn't want to face it. I didn't want to believe that the person I built my life around was capable of walking away so easily. And now, she's still in Paris. The program ended weeks ago, but she hasn't come back. I imagine her there, walking hand in hand with her first love, living the life she wants. While I'm stuck here, picking up the pieces of what's left of mine. Does she even think about me, about the life we built together? Or did she erase it all the moment she hit send on those photos? People tell me I should fight for her, for what we had. But how do you fight for someone who doesn't want to stay? How do you hold on when the person you love has already let go? It's not just the betrayal that hurts, it's the way it makes you question everything about yourself. Was I not enough? Did I do something wrong? Or was I just a placeholder, someone to fill the void until she could get back to him? These are the questions that keep me up at night, the ones that tear me apart from the inside. And the worst part is, I know I'll never get the answers. She's moved on, I have to figure out how to do the same. But it's hard to let go of something you believed in so completely, even when it's clear the other person didn't. I used to think that if you gave everything to someone, your time, your trust, your heart, it was enough. But after what happened, I started asking myself questions I never thought I'd have to face. Was it ever enough for her? Was I enough for her? Or was our marriage just something she settled for until something better came along? Sometimes, when I'd sit alone, I replay every memory we had, trying to figure out if I missed any signs. I wondered if she ever really loved me, or if she was just going through the motions. I mean, when we got married, it felt so real, like the kind of love people write songs and stories about. But now, knowing what I know, I can't help but ask myself, was it all in my head? She stayed in Paris, you know, even after the program ended, she didn't even try to come home. From what I've pieced together, she's probably living her best life with her first love. While I'm here, trying to figure out how to rebuild what's left of mine. And honestly, that hurts more than anything, the fact that she didn't even look back. It's like she didn't even fight for us, like I wasn't worth the effort. At first, I thought about writing her a letter, something to lay it all out. To tell her how much she hurt me and how much I gave to this marriage. But then I realized, what's the point? She made her choice, she chose her path, and it wasn't me. Writing to her wouldn't bring me closure, it would just open up the wound all over again. Closure doesn't come from someone else, it has to come from within. So I didn't write the letter, instead, I took a deep breath and told myself, let her go. If she didn't value what we had, if she didn't value me, then holding on wasn't going to change anything. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not like I just woke up one day and everything was fine. Letting go is a process. There were days when I felt like I couldn't breathe. Like the weight of it all was too much. But there were also moments of clarity, moments where I realized something important. Love should be mutual, it should never feel one-sided, like you're the only one holding it together. I gave everything I had to her, and I deserve someone who would do the same for me. That's what keeps me going, the idea that maybe someday I'll find someone who sees me for who I am and loves me for it. Or maybe I won't, and that's okay too. What matters is that I'm not stuck chasing someone who didn't want to be caught. Now, I'm taking it one step at a time, I'm focusing on rebuilding myself. On figuring out who I am outside of this relationship. Maybe one day, I'll open myself up to love again. But for now, I'm just trying to be okay with being alone. If you're going through something like this, just remember, it's okay to grieve. But don't lose yourself in the process. You deserve love, real love, and you'll find it, as long as you don't forget to love yourself first. Let me know what you think or what you would do if you were in my shoes. Would you fight for someone who seems to have already chosen someone else? Or would you walk away and try to rebuild? It's hard to know the right answer, but maybe your thoughts will give me some clarity I don't have right now. If my story resonated with you, or even if it made you think about your own relationships, don't forget to like this video and share it. Maybe someone out there needs to hear this too. Thanks for listening, and all the best in your own journey. Take care.